Hi, this is Ron Hirschman with another Between the Lanes how-to video. Today we're going to show you how to glue up slot car wheels and donuts and mount them just based on years of experience in doing this and at one time manufacturing tires. So to get started, of course we've got our donuts and we've got our wheels. Now there's two ways to get wheels. Either you take your old tires you've used and you soak them in some lacquer thinner. Could take anywhere from a couple hours up to 4 hours or whatever. But maybe find a jar and fill it up with put your tires in there and your old tires in there and pour some lacquer thinner in there and seal it up and let it sit for a few hours, and the wheels will actually just slide right out of the donuts. The donuts will expand a little bit. They'll be saturated with lacquer thinner. Slide the wheels out, and you're pretty much good to go. Now you got your wheels. That might be a good time to replace the set screws in the wheels when you're doing that. And then before you glue up your wheels, you'll want to clean them. Whether they're new or used wheels, you want to clean them up in some fresh lacquer thinner or acetone just to get any oils, any gunk off of them where you're going to glue them up. So first step that I always do is I glue my wheels up first. And what I do is I'll take a wheel and I'll take an Allen wrench and I will basically slide it on like so. And then this jar I showed you, that's where I put that's how I mix my glue. I put 3M weather strip adhesive. This is the yellow advanced. I always use yellow. I don't use black, and I'm going to tell you why I always use the yellow. And you can find this at AutoZone, any kind of automotive parts store, as it's used basically is to seal up gaskets. It's a gasket adhesive, but it's yellow. And I'm going to squeeze a drop and see how that's kind of bright yellow. Well, we're going to lose that drop, maybe if we do that. But if you notice, that's kind of a bright yellow. And if the glue is fresh and good, it'll be that bright yellow. If it's a golden yellow or a darker yellow color, don't use it. And when you're in the store, take it out of the box, unscrew the lid, and squeeze a little bit of it out. You'll be able to see it. And if it's bright yellow, buy it. If it's a different color yellow, don't buy it. Check another tube. They also make the same thing in black. I don't use black because for that test right there, you can't tell if the black is still good or not. Black is black. Yellow turns a darker shade of yellow or gold when it goes bad. And I've seen guys buy bad tubes right off the shelf. So in my jar, and I'm not really actually going to do this because I'm not making a mess and trying to run the camera, but I will squirt the 3M into the jar. As you can see, I've squirted some in there. And then I'll put a little bit of lacquer thinner in there, just like some drops, stir it up a little bit. And what that will do is it'll make the adhesive a little bit more thinner, and it won't have as bad as strings, because when you mess with this out of the tube, as you can see, it gets stringy, and that string, it doesn't want to stick very good to parts in that form. So when you thin it out and make it a little thinner, and you'll probably have to play with it a little bit. Just use a little bit of thinner at first, stir it up. Doesn't take much. If you put too much thinner in, then you got to add more glue, because if you got more thinner than glue, then the glue just wants to ball up. So after you get that mixed, the simplest, quickest way I can tell you people how to do this is take a Q-tip, just a standard old Q-tip. You dip it in there, and then you can just brush it on the wheel, on the outside of the wheel or the rim. Okay, and basically it's going to look like this once you have it glued up. It'll look like this. So once you get your wheels, and then you have to to take them off and put them on your wax paper. This is a piece of wax paper. Best part about wax paper is the adhesive does not stick to the wax paper, so you can get the pieces and parts off later. If you put this like on a wood table or anything, that's actually gonna adhere to whatever surface you put it on. But wax paper, it just does not want to. This doesn't stick to the wax paper. So anyway, once you get your wheels glued up, and we've got some wheels here, and then you can go to your donuts. Okay, we've got some donuts. I'll put those off to the side. Now, how I glue the donuts is I take a fuzzy, what we used to call these pipe cleaners, and I don't think they sell them as pipe cleaners anymore, but you can find these at Hobby Lobby or any craft show. They call them Chinizzle sticks or something like that nowadays. I fold it in half, give it a little twist. I fold it in half again, and give another twist like so. And that's what I use to glue the inside of the donuts. And what I'll do is I'll put that down in my jar with my thinner. And when I pull it out, it's going to look like that on the end. Okay. Then we slide this in here. And we go in and out. Pull it back and forth. Turn the donut. Now this is dried, but it'll be a little bit wetter. But you're looking to get that inside of that donut coated all the way around with the adhesive. That's one donut that's done. Here's another donut that's done. And you can see how the adhesive's inside there, fully coated, the inside of the ID. And then you've got your rims coated now. You've got your donuts coated. They're sitting on your paper. You need to leave it sit about, I don't know, basically, after you glue the donut, let it sit for a couple hours. If you squeeze the donut and it pops back, that adhesive's dry. Now you're ready to start sliding the rims in. But if you squeeze this, or don't let it dry long enough, and you release it and it stays like that, you haven't let it dry long enough. But you want it to spring back open. That tells you that that is dry in there, and you're ready to slide the wheels into the donut. So what we do is we take a little container of lacquer thinner, and we put the Allen wrench, or the wheel on the Allen wrench, like so. We'll take the donut, we'll put it in the thinner like so, and then we will get the wheel nice and wet. I'll flip the donut over this way and let it sit. One more, and then we will slide them together like so. Now, you want to go in past, and you'll have some sticking out the back. Then you want to come back and push that in till it's inside. Like so. Sometimes you'll find your donuts to be a little narrow, but what you want is you want it to be not flush, you want it to be inside a little bit, the donut on both sides of the wheel. Okay? So, take our next wheel, and we'll do a couple of these so you kind of see. But you got to get this good and wet. You got to get these parts good and wet, because the lacquer thinner does two things. It lubricates the two parts so they slide together real easy. And the lacquer thinner reactivates the adhesive so it gets sticky again. so the two parts stick together and stay together. So we're in on that side. We need to go in a little bit more here. And now we're out on this side. So see, these donuts I got are a little narrow. Sometimes they're a little thicker, sometimes, but there we go. We're still out on this side a little bit, so it's a real narrow donut, but that's good. I mean, it's good that I get a narrow donut to show you, because sometimes you can pull and get it to stretch around that wheel. And there we go. Okay, so after you get all your wheels mounted, you just leave them sit and dry. You should leave them sit and dry for about, I always let them sit and dry for 24 hours before I grind them. So an easy test is, and this is a tire that was done yesterday. As you can see, it's in on both sides. If I peel this back and it's stuck all the way around, I can't really peel it off, then it's ready to grind. It's dried, it's ready to go. But I always recommend 24 hours, kind of a no foul up kind of deal when you wait 24 hours. I've seen them glued up and ground, in 4 to 6 hours after they've been glued up, but I don't really recommend that. The longer they sit, the better they dry out, the better they adhere, and you're good to go grinding then. So there's a quick and simple video on how to mount your donuts. And if you have any questions, you can just send them in on the YouTube channel or on the Facebook page for Between the Lanes, and we'll get you answered. But good luck, have fun, and we'll see you Wednesday nights, 8 p.m., Between the Lanes.